This is Y8, a place that many of us remember from our childhood. But it wasn't just Y8. Websites like Frib, Newgrounds, and many others hosted thousands of flash games. And my favorite was always the local multiplayer games because you and your friends would all gather around in one computer, squeezing your sweaty hands onto the same keyboard just to play games. So that's why I am going to make my own multiplayer game with 5 players in only 3 days. The first day was we need to work on the main dudes, the 5 players, so I added a big cylinder which will be the main arena. Why? Well, because this is about 5 players killing it. Anyways, like any other games, everything starts with basic shapes. This is player 1. Let's then give it a simple movement script so we can control it. Also, I should probably mention that since this is a 5-player game, we need to keep the controls simple, so I only use 3 keys on a keyboard to control each player. Because we only need to fit 5 people for this game and we don't want to torture our keyboard when playing this. So after a while, we now have 2 players on the scene and the movement is pretty straightforward. So here's player 1. His control is Q to turn left and E to turn right and W to launch forward. It's the same with player 2 but with different controls. I then changed the color of player 2 and it's actually kinda difficult to control 2 players at the same time, but whatever. At this point, there are only 2 capsules running around and pushing each other. So to make this gameplay more engaging, I added health bars so players can actually eliminate each other instead of just endlessly bumping around. Oh yeah, I also made the camera follow the center of all the players that will be on the arena. And this is all of the code you need for it. Boom, oh, you missed it. Also, just look at player 2 just beating the crap out of player 1. Yeah, it's definitely being controlled by someone else and not me. Obviously. After beating the crap out of player 1, I started working on the arena because this cylinder is not enough. And this is the result. But this looks a little too bland, so let's install post-processing to make this better. Right now, the players just uses glasses to indicate their direction or their faces, which is cool, but I think having just an arrow beneath the player is way cleaner. And then boom, we now have 2 LED lights fighting each other. And to make this easier, I replaced the launch forward mechanic thing with just a continuous forward movement using add force. This allows players to focus more on steering rather than just repeatedly pressing the forward button. Now this is looking pretty decent, but something is still missing. Yeah, that's right, particles. So I added particles when being damaged or killed. Right after that, I added sound effects using VFXR, and here's the result. Now that player 1 and player 2 are finished, we can now proceed to adding all 5 Power Rank players. And after a while, we now have 5 players that has their own controls and color. I cannot really control all of them at the same time, so I just have to move them one by one. I then made a list of all the players that are still alive and the ones that are dead. And once there's only 1 player left, the game will be over as well as showing off the winner. And I think that is gameplay. On the second day, we have some important things to do, such as a main menu that will select how many players will be playing. So the first thing I made is this new map with a hole in the middle, and this is where all the players can practice their movement and controls before fighting. Once they are ready, they can just jump into the hole and start the game. So the second thing I made is this UI, so you can select how many players will be playing. So if you want a trio, you can do that, or if you want 5 players, you can also do that. What am I even saying? Anyways, I fixed their position now on the menu to make it even more dramatic. Now, since this game is filled with glowing things, I decided to add a dark mode, which will just disable the directional light of the game. I don't really need to add this, but I think it's cool, so why not? Now, having 1 arena is cool and all, but have you ever heard of a boxing ring? Of course you do. So I made one, and this is a cool new map, mainly because it has walls that prevent you from falling or getting pushed out of the arena, and the rope thing will bounce you off if you touch it. Now, having a boxing ring is cool and all, but have you ever heard of a donut? Of course you do, who doesn't? So I made one as an arena because donuts have holes in the middle, and it can be a bit challenging for the players, so yeah. Anyways, I made the UI now so you can select the map that you want to battle on. After a bunch of random nonsense, I did some playtesting for the game and I got to say, everything is just pure mess, and
I don't even know what's happening most of the time.
probably because I'm still the one controlling all 5 players, so I guess we have to wait until my friends arrive. On the last day, I don't really know what to do, but I added some small things such as this trail effect and this trail particles. I wasn't really gonna upload this to itch because I do think the game is pretty bad. It's not really well polished, but I guess I might as well save it. So I took a bunch of screenshots of the game and made this really sick logo. And I decided to call this game Bump, because you're kinda just bumping other players while they're bumping you, right? And now that this game is finished, it's finally time to play this with my friends. Wait, I don't have friends.